Welcome to the podcast, Working Drummer. Dynamic interviews that tell you everything you need to know about being a professional drummer and a few things you may not want to know. Produced by Mike Jackson and hosted by myself, Matthew Krause.
Yes, Matt, I will take a cappuccino, thank you. Am I supposed to do with my hands? Do I?
Does that look like a cappuccino?
Yeah, I drink this?
This?
It looks like a microphone.
It's the stamper.
Ooh,
It's the tamper.
Seriously, what are these, man? These are killer.
I'm borrowing these mics from my good friend Colin Winery.
Oh, how's he doing, man?
He's good, man.
Are these?
We work a lot together, and
I can't fucking see because after I turned 40, my eyes went to.
I know.
I remember my readers. How old are you? Are you freaking 35?
Yeah, God bless you. I'm 44, man.
I didn't realize we were that close in age.
Yeah.
Did this happen to you too? Did you just all of a sudden have to wear readers?
Well, I denied it for years. I thought, no, this my sight is fine. And then a friend of mine said, yeah, well, right when I hit your age, my sight started going. And I said, yeah, I think I'm okay. And then I'm in the hotel room and I'm trying to copy down the information on the phone, the address, and I write the address down wrong. And it was that day he told me, and I just, raised my fist in anger. Pete!
Dude, it happened to me at a hotel, too, checking in.
Yeah.
I looked down, I'm like, and Gary Morris behind me taps me on the shoulder and goes, and I went, all right. And he gave me those glasses.
What?
Yeah. I still have them.
Every interview, I swear to you, every single interview has this aha moment. This oh my gosh, yes. I've been doing this I've been playing drums for a long time.
Yeah.
But everybody has this awesome insight that is unique to them. And
Don't say that. There's a lot of pressure, man. That's a lot of pressure, man.
Okay, thanks, man. Good
Why
to
would
see
you? Why would you? Oh,
See
so that's it? Is that the aha moment? That was it for this one. I have nothing worth something to say.
That was amazing. See, I thought that Trey Gray would have lots to say.
Yeah.
But it turns out he doesn't.
Not at all.
Well, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That's my aha moment.
All right.
Well, we'll just pad the rest of this with something. How are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. How are you? Your lovely family.
Yeah,
getting big
we took some extra time to get caught up with them, and
I think I'm telling you, I think your wife is getting taller. I don't know why she seems so little to me.
you know what? I think she's established herself, and she is an awesome woman.
And you're an awesome guy. You guys have done great together. That's a cool thing.
she carries a lot of pride with her work and what she does, and I'm very proud of her. And she kind of picks up the slack in our family as far as being a great example and a humanitarian for my kids. I guess for anybody that doesn't know, she works for Open Table Nashville, which helps find housing for homeless people, in a nutshell.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it's been
awesome.
great. It's been great. So one thing I didn't know is that you're not in Nashville. You've moved back home, I guess. Which isn't very far away.
No. Let me just think. Are we in 2015 now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So last year, 2014, my mom passed in February, and then my dad died in May. So, first, actually, let's go back a few months before that. 2013, I was actually home in South Bend with my dad, and Gary had called me and told me Tommy had passed.
Yeah, right. Gary Forkham.
Oh, yeah.
About
and
Tommy Wells.
Whoa, it was like...
That was crazy.
So that happened. That happened. And then my mom was in and out of ICU in the nursing home, the Huntington's home she was in Terre Haute, Indiana. And she finally succumbed in February, and then my dad died in May. So I left my house down here, and I told some friends, grab whatever you want. I got a drum set. I had a picture of my family, my kids, and me together, and a couple sets of clothes, and I just left. Mm-hmm. And I took a year to kind of I was still doing the Ronnie Dunn gig, and he called during that time, and I said no, and I just I think God led me there just to kind of find myself again, Yeah. But that being said, I my two younger children are still here, so I'm here back and forth, at least once a month, and then, it's been a big blessing, more than a curse. Yeah. Did I get a little windy? Sorry. But
No, not at all. Not at all, man. I mean, in what way has it been a good thing? Do you feel like you've been able to take a step back from life and from the music business in a way to kind of reset?
yeah. Yes. And you know me a long time, man. And it's kind of funny. John Root,
Yeah,
John Root.
Yeah.
So I'm gone, and first off, I was really never that Nashville guy. I've been very fortunate to get some really wonderful work, and I've been very blessed. You know that I've had some
Yeah.
great gigs, but
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
never the hustle guy. I just never did it. Not that I don't respect that,
Right.
or not that I didn't want to do that. I know I come across as a douche because I get so weird, but I'm actually a really kind of shy guy. And not very confident. Most drummers, we can hide behind our drums.
Yeah, for sure.
So, this is funny too. I've been married, and after every couple divorces, I kept moving further away out of town, and I kept feeling better about it. And I think it would show in my playing and what I was doing other than the Nashville thing. And then being totally away from it and being back at a place that I find so romantic in my love of life,
Yeah.
it really, I think I'm playing better than I ever have.
Okay.
So when I come back, it's like,
Yeah.
it's a new, it's inspiring. It's inspiring for me to be able to show and help kids up there know what I know,
Yeah.
which isn't a lot, and I still keep getting calls, which is hilarious. Root goes, because I just did the Vegas thing with them and Reba. He goes, I'm going to leave town for a year, and maybe Reba will call me like, well, dude, it's not, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I don't know. But people still call me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I've gotten to finally, I really like producing, man. And we still have our studio in Columbia here, but then I opened a northern studio too.
Oh,
And
really?
we're doing 2 or 3 records a month.
Nice.
And just indie records,
Yeah.
low budget, $5 to $10,000, if that, somewhere like 25. But it's really been great. Yeah, it's really been great.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about that idea of being in a town where the music business is very much a big part of it. I'm not saying that you don't have thick skin at all. I'm not saying this. You have to have thick skin to exist in a somewhat daunting and repressive type of environment, to maintain a certain amount of sanity, to compete and maintain a positive attitude when things aren't always going your way.
Right.
And when you don't know what's going on 6 months from now, it can be very stressful. And when you have many responsibilities, whether it's a mortgage or responsibilities with kids,
whatever,
things like that. As many of us do, not everybody, of course, but as many do as musicians in Nashville. It's one of the reasons why Nashville is a chosen location, because of the ability to balance domestic life and professional life in the entertainment industry. It completely
Can you do
makes
this
sense.
every time you do entertainment industry? I think that would be
By
important.
the industry, I do mean the business.
Nice.
That's a Rob McNally quote.
I should know that. That's awesome. Yeah, Rob.
It makes a lot of sense that when you separate yourself from it, there's a sense of peace, and especially when you go closer to home. And it sounds like you had some
Yeah, it was
real reason to reset.
And I think as we get older, and you can answer this too and attest to this.
I'm 35, man.
I know.
Remember? That's what you
right.
said.
And I'm 29. So, wow. you son of a bitch. My bullshit factor is way down now.
Yes.
My give a shit. Like when
Yes.
I remember meaning, this sounds really bad. Maybe I shouldn't say this.
You're in a safe place.
I know, but when something's bad or something's not right or something's not good now,
Yeah.
I just say it. Ronnie called me to do those George Strait Stadium shows, right? He did like 6 of them. And I said, I didn't want to go out under certain circumstances if it involved some people who I didn't think were on a level professionally. And I told him that, And it's I think after being back home and after losing my parents, which is heavy, I think.
Of course.
Losing anyone or doing anything or changing a job where it's heavy, and then all of a sudden you go, well, what's really important here? You know, I've done all the big stuff. I really can't.
Yeah.
I've done it over and over again, you know, for a lot of years, man.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, fuck it, I'm not doing it. You know, and it was it was really, it was hard to say no to a money gig and everything.
But why do you feel like you have to preface that with, this probably sounds bad, man?
Because people think that I'm a dick because I've been very honest with everything my whole career in Nashville. Somebody asks how much do you get paid for this gig? I tell you, because I want you to know we don't make hundreds of thousands of dollars. We don't drive BMWs. It's not what people think it is. I think when I was a kid, I wanted to be a rock star. I did. I wanted to be in Kiss, man. And, I thought chicks and money and a mansion. I just thought that, And when I moved to Nashville, I thought I'd get in a band. And I played in a couple rock bands in Nashville, but then started doing the whole country thing. And it was, we started getting paid. And you start playing arenas. You're on private jets. Mm-hmm. You're traveling around the world. You're staying at Ritz-Carltons. Mm-hmm. The perception is, and from my family and friends, we're like, why do you drive in a freaking Ford Escort or something? I'm like, because that's what I can't afford. Well, what do you mean that's what you can afford? Well, that's what I can't afford. I don't understand. I just saw you on the Grammys. I've seen you on I've seen you. Okay, you've seen the artist I play with.
Right.
Yeah, it was bad, but I'm an employee of their company. I'm not. It's not da-da-da-da featuring Trey Gray, featuring Matt Krause. We're a paid employee. I'm not complaining or bitching. That's where people, I think, they think I'm complaining. I'm not. I could have walked away and been a manager at McDonald's and made more money.
Right.
That's the God's honest truth. And been around for my family a lot more. But it was our passion, that makes you stay and do it. Yeah. So that's why when I say when somebody calls me to go do a fucking stadium gig for good money, and to walk, it wasn't that I was too good for that or anything like that. It was just I had had enough. Mm-hmm. And if I want to play with musicians that. I'm a good musician. Yeah. I'm not a bad musician. I'm not a great musician. I'm a good, solid musician. Mm-hmm. I want to play with good, solid musicians. Yeah. I would love to play with greater musicians because I think that brings our game up.
It elevates you, sure.
And once you aren't as good, you learn what not to do. I've always said that. But at a certain time, if the people who are there that really aren't supposed to be there, that's kind of a slap in the face to me to what I've done all these years.
Right.
I hate to say that. And so if I have a choice of walking away from that. I mean, my first year back home.
Well, you said that. You said if you have a choice.
Yeah.
And I think first of all,
you
bottom
do have a
line
choice.
Is everybody has a choice.
Thank you. I was born in Indianapolis, and then I moved to the South Bend area when I was 10. And then moved here when I was 19. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Based on the math, I think you would have been 13. No. Okay.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So you were saying in 94 is when you started with Faith Hill?
Yeah, but before that I did have, I worked, when I first came to town, I worked at a cartage company because still back then, it was a days of everybody was doing 3-a-day sessions and, there was, I worked for Nashville Cartage and Sound, NCS. SIR was huge. I mean, you couldn't go down Music Row, the back alleys and Berry Hill. I mean, there are trucks everywhere, right? Yeah. So it was very easy to get a job doing that. So I got a job doing that on weekends, and they loved it, setting up Eddie Bears, and it was just, gosh, it was so much fun, croony, and it was just great.
Did you get a chance to see those guys? I mean,
no.
I mean,
yes,
you kind of have to be out of the.
That wasn't a thing. That was one of the stipulations. I remember Jim saying to me, don't. Nobody wants to hear your drummer playing. If they ask you, what are you doing, that's great. But don't. And I've always been fortunate enough, and I tell the story a lot, but Gary Forkham, my first week in town, he goes, Gary, for those of you who haven't been there's always drum stools set up, and there's always somebody in there hanging out.
Yeah.
And he goes, hang out, and you tell me at the end of the day what your perception was of these people. And it wasn't of how they were as people. That's not what I mean. But like, who were the drummers and who were the people who were talking shit? Well, I was sitting there, do, and a guy would come, man, I got to hurry for that 2 o'clock, do, I need, well, I'm rocking today. I'm just so busy. And I'm like, oh, that had to be, I write it down, like who I think that is. And then somebody else would come in and just go, hey, man, I need a coded ambassador. Grab it. See you, Gary, thanks. Boom. I'm like, oh, that's got to be a weekend warrior guy, No, it's totally opposite.
Yes.
It's like the biggest guys
yes.
were the guys who came in and didn't say anything about what they were doing. They just came in for their typical stuff or were very sweet about it. And then you had these guys talking, and I thought they were the rock stars. And no, it was just the opposite. Yeah. And I learned a lot. So from that, I've always been good at listening to what people tell me to do, and I shut up. You can learn so much more by shutting up than you can by talking. 2
ears, 1 mouth.
Thank you. Bam. And so, friends, yes, I sat there and I watched people. And since I never said anything or whatever, then they go, somebody had a friend at Pearl Drums, and they were hiring some stuff. I went and applied, got the job there, worked there for about 1.5 years, and then I got a job with a guy on RCA Records, Robert Ellis Oral. And back then, well, basically, and still does, your buddies or whom you meet, like on Broadway, I'd play in all those bands and stuff. Well, they became like a tech for somebody. Okay, then they became a guitar, road manager or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, then they would call you.
Yeah.
Especially because there was tons of B acts back then, dude, right? Everybody had a record deal in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. So I got to on a bus for about 8 months, and then the Nashville thing happens to where it's Christmas time, and like, oh, we're not working anymore. Oh, what? Right. Oh.
But this is when I really need money.
Yeah, hello, but I've been partying, man. I've been making, $300 a week. No more work, right? So that stopped in November, and I jumped on and did a Christmas tour with, from that gig, the fiddle player. See how it all happens.
Yeah, right.
The fiddle player calls me and goes, can you leave tomorrow with this band from New Orleans? They were called Evangeline. It was 4 girls on Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville label.
Oh.
Very sweet girls. Mm-hmm. And it was a threesome act. So one bus, 3 acts, girls included. There was a girl, Becky Williams from Utah, and there was and Wiley in the Wild West show. That was the other one. So Wiley's band played with Becky and Wiley, and then we played with Evangeline. And the funny thing was, they had Wild One, Face First #1, as a single on their album, and it was totally different. Yeah. So I did that for a month. I stopped doing that, and then the bass player for that was a guy named Mark Winchester, upright bass player, was doing a radio tour, which I didn't know what it was, with a guy named David Ball, who had a song it was on Warner Brothers called Thinking Problem. So we went around to radio stations 3 a day, and I played a snare drum and brushes, and he played upright bass.
Well, and that's kind of an interesting thing, because most radio tours, there isn't a drummer. It's usually maybe the singer and a guitar player singing backup.
Yeah.
So
it was great, because David's very old school, kind of Texas, and he wanted to have something going underneath him.
Yeah.
And it was a blast, and that was Warner Brothers. Well, all the execs from Warner were always out with us, and I never talked or anything. I just sat back and listened. So they went, hey, what are you doing after this gig? And I go, I don't know. And they went, this girl named Faith Hill, she just has a single out. She's putting a band together for a tour. You should audition. I'll get you the number to the guy.
Cool.
And I didn't know anybody except the Warner people, which was great.
Right.
So I called Gary Carter, and he goes, we're booked up for auditions. But thanks. I'll keep your number if something were to come up ever. Thanks. So I went on, kept doing stuff with David. And then 2 weeks later, he calls me and goes, we're doing another round of auditions. Would you like to come in? Well, I'm like, yeah, when is it? And he said, whatever time it was. And it was the only thing I had booked that week was this stupid, silly, like fake video TV show with David, which is money to me. And I can't, dude,
It's your gig.
Yeah, we're making $100. I got to go make $100. I can't just, And I go, you're not going to believe this. No, I can't come in and audition then because I have this thing. He goes, well, I'll just swap you for something else. And I went, oh, well, that was nice. And then boom. That's it, baby. Oh, you want to know after that?
That's it. Thanks, Trey. Good night.
Yes, thank you. No, I did a few more.
Well, so that turned into 5.
Oh gosh, no, it turned in 94 to 2000, and then I did some stuff in 2001. Okay. I got to sub for Vinny. Ooh, that was fun.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It was great,
That's
fun.
Right.
Yeah, right. But it was crazy because again, it was that time where it was that resurgence of Nashville, like it is now, right now, and people were selling. I mean, Faith. And we're sold now. It's up to like 36 million records. I think she sold. So she sold a lot of records, man.
Yeah, that was a huge period.
Yeah,
for her, man.
And it just was boom, it was immediate, and then you do all the TV stuff, the big TV stuff, and then, I mean, then people see you, and that's how you get other work. You know, that's how I always got my work.
Because that turned into a gig that gave you some visibility.
Absolutely.
And so you can kind of hang your hat on that and say, this has kind of helped. When I was talking to Tim Horsley, I was like, the Keith gig was the gig that helped establish him.
Yeah.
And he had a visual and an audible presence that then people could hear him and people could see you and hear you. And although before I knew you were playing with Faith, we met, and so I got to know you more personally then. But then to see you play and have the opportunity to just turn the TV on and say, "Oh, okay, I get it. Now I get it. Yeah, awesome. Wow, he's great.
That's fun.
Really
oh,
good,
thanks. And speaking of Tim, man, like we were talking earlier, what a groove. I mean, one of my favorites, man.
Yeah.
And I even liked him. I liked him with Gary because we got to play with Gary so much. Because I could sit kind of like next to him and watch him, and it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
I would, because we did a lot of shows with him with Brooks and Dunn, and I would just sit back and go, "Son of a bitch," and they're like, "Make that feel bad. If I throw something at you, will you mess up or something?" It's just his feel is incredible. Yeah.
And that's the thing is, I think when you do tours when there's multiple acts, you could sit side stage, and the hang factor and the listening factor has always been so good. And that's
especially among drummers, right?
I know. It can't be said enough.
It's really
always a great thing.
I wish we could explain it, and it's hard to explain.